Making headlines tonight, Super 50 radio coverage builds across region. Big guns ease through in Australian Open. An Olympics chief scolded over inappropriate remarks towards women. Good evening and welcome to the major ZDK Sports Edition for Tuesday, February 9, 2021. I am your presenter, Terry Laraji, and now for the details. We begin tonight bowling off with cricket. The excitement of the CG Insurance Super 50 Cup is being heard all across the West Indies, as a network of radio stations from around the region has started to broadcast the live ball-by-ball coverage thanks to Cricket West Indies' new and expanded radio commentary partnership with Vibes Radio Dominica. The radio coverage commenced on Sunday as 10 stations from Jamaica to Guyana, including the first time in many years the British Virgin Islands and US Virgin Islands, carried the coverage and analysis of the opening match where Windward Islands Volcanoes defeated the Leeward Islands Hurricanes at the Coolidge Cricket Ground CCG here in Antigua. Commentary continued on Monday when Shimron Hetmeyer top scored with 80 off 52 balls, while all-rounder Romario Shepherd made 58 not out as Guyana Jaguars recorded a comfortable win over Barbados Pride. Batting first, Guyana made 235, but after a rain break, the target was revised to 232 off 47 overs. Barbados Pride reached 91 for 5 in the 30th over when the rain returned and brought an end to the match. Shepherd also took a wicket and bowled with pace on a good surface to win the Man of the Match award. Scores: Guyana Jaguars 234 all out of 41.4 overs, Hetmeyer 80, Shepherd 58 not out, Nurse 3 for 44, Jason Holder 3 for 53. Barbados Pride 91 for 5 of 29.3 overs, McCuskey 25, Sinclair 2 for 17. Guyana won by 56 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method. The next match in the Super 50 Cup sees Barbados Pride play the Leeward Islands Hurricanes on Wednesday at the CCG from 1:30 p.m. The broadcast will run for all matches throughout the tournament and climax with the grand final on Saturday, February 27. Meantime, as the action continues in Antigua and Barbuda, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes assistant coach, Wilden Cornwall, is hopeful the Leewards can go one better than last season when they were runners-up to the West Indies Emerging Players. Even though they lost their first game to the Volcanoes by 31 runs, Cornwall stated on ZDK's Open Forum program that walking away with the Best Fielding Team award would be another significant achievement.
Put in a lot of work in the training. One of the big parts I really want to see this season is our feeling really lift from where he was and really even come out on top and win that award in that department. I mean, I pride myself in make sure that the fielding department look good and make sure the guys in them really go out and put on a very good display.
Wilden Cornwall. Meantime, West Indies head coach Phil Simmons believes the team needs to improve in all areas going forward, and especially if they are to win the second test against Bangladesh, set for the Sherabangla National Cricket Stadium in Dhaka on Wednesday. The West Indies pulled off an improbable win on Sunday's final day of the first test at Chattogram. Set a target at 395, the West Indies achieved the win by 3 wickets, thanks largely to a remarkable undefeated 210 from Carl Mayers and an obdurate knock of 86 from Nakuma Bonner. Simmons believes that the West Indies can use the performance in the match as an inspiration to do even better.
I think the main thing is trust in our ability, because I think once we've done that in this test match, and I will highlight the partnership in the first inning between Blackwood and De Silva, where there was a lot of pressure put on us in that partnership, and they trusted themselves and they came out of it. And in the second inning, there was a lot of pressure put on Myers and Bonner for a period there where they had to trust their ability, they have to believe in themselves. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, that in the times of challenges during their innings, they trusted their ability and they fought through it, and there was a grind. We had to grind through it, and we did that.
Phil Simmons. Meanwhile, the new man of the moment after West Indies' incredible test victory against Bangladesh on Sunday, Carl Mayers, who joined Nakuma Bonner to put on 216 for the 4th wicket and swing momentum back in the tourers' favour, reflected on his performance, putting it all down to being a very positive person.
Honestly, I just believe in myself, first of all. I'm a very positive person. I always believe in myself, no matter the situation, and I just stuck to my game plan as long as possible.
He and Bonner told themselves to just bat.
Honestly, I wasn't even watching the scoreboard, to be honest. I was just trying to bat as long as possible. The only thing was on my mind was getting the runs.
Mez says he feels great going into the next match.
A lot of things that I did well. I feel great going into the other tests. I like to take the positives from this one and try to transfer it into the next one and try to improve as much as possible and be a good student of the game.
Carl Mez. Nkrumah Bonner says he will take away the importance of fighting for your country from his gritty innings.
Not only in this situation, but in our situation, it's very important to have a clear mind and be confident and, be patient and willing to fight for your country. I think, those are some of the most important points that, I've taken away from this inning.
For Bonner, it was a big achievement.
It's a big achievement for me. It has been my childhood dream, something that I've wanted to accomplish. And, from Roddy Eswick handing me the hat to the victory, I don't have words to really say how I feel, but all I can say is an amazing feeling.
Nkrumah Bonner. Mez later did the heavy lifting in another three-figure partnership with Josh De Silva and was fittingly the man to scramble the match-winning single with 15 balls remaining in the match. The Windies are now one up in the two-match series. The second and final test bowls off on February 10 at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. And Shakib Al Hasan has been ruled out of the second test against West Indies because of the left thigh injury that kept him away from large chunks of the action during the first test in Chattogram. According to a Bangladesh Cricket Board statement, the board's medical team will continue to treat Shakib, who will, however, leave the team's biosecurity bubble for the time being. Meantime, Rishabh Pant won the inaugural ICC Men's Player of the Month award for January, finishing ahead of Joe Root and Paul Sterling in the voting. The Indian wicketkeeper batsman played two match-defining innings against Australia, scoring 97 in Sydney to ensure a draw before his unbeaten 89 not out in Brisbane led India to a famous series win, while Shabnib Ismail has won the Women's Player of the Month award, finishing ahead of Pakistan's Diana Beige and teammate Marizan Kapp. The leader of the South African bowling attack took 7 wickets in the one-day international series against Pakistan to play a big part in the Proteas' 3-0 series win. Meanwhile, James Anderson and Jack Leach bowled England to a famous 227-run victory against India on the final day of the first test in Chennai. Chasing an improbable 420 to win, India was stopped in their tracks by Anderson with 3 wickets and Leach, who took 4, as England inflicted just a second home defeat on their hosts in 8 years. Scores in the match: England 578, Root 218 and 178, Ashwin 6 for 61, India 337 and 192, Kohli 72, Anderson 3 for 17, Leach 4 for 76. England leads the 4-match series 1-0. The second test bowls off on February 12. In other sporting developments tonight, kicking into football, in the English Premier League last night, Patrick Bamford scored the 100th goal of his career as Leeds United gained a deserved 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace to move into the top half of the Premier League table. Shooting into basketball, in the NBA, LeBron James scored 28 points in a stellar display to help the Lakers to a 119-112 overtime win against the Thunder. The Hornets rocked the Rockets 119-94. Wizards beat the Bulls 105-101 as Beal scored 35. The Raptors wrapped up the Grizzlies 128-113. The Mavericks beat the Timberwolves 127-122. The Spurs beat the Warriors 105-100. The Suns downed the Cavaliers 119-113 as Booker dropped in 36. And the Bucks, they bucked the Nuggets 125-112. Serving into tennis now, world number 2, Rafael Nadal began his bid for a men's record 21st Grand Slam title with a straight set victory over Laszlo Djere at the Australian Open. The Spaniard did not play in the ATP Cup last week after struggling with a back injury, but he moved well in a 6-3, 6-4, 6-1 victory over the Serb. In the women's draw, world number 1 Ashley Barty took just 44 minutes and did not drop a game as she ended a year-long wait for Grand Slam tennis with a stunning win. The Australian beat Danka Kovninic 6-love, 6-love in a ruthless display to reach the Australian Open second round. Touching down in gridiron, Tampa Bay Buccaneers star Tom Brady dismissed any talk of retirement, saying he was coming back after winning Super Bowl 55. Brady led the Buccaneers past the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 on Sunday to win a record-extending 7th Super Bowl crown. There was speculation the 43-year-old quarterback could retire if the Buccaneers won the showpiece game, but Brady will return for a 22nd NFL season. Swinging into golf, world number 1 Dustin Johnson won the Saudi International on Sunday by 2 shots from his American compatriot Tony Finau and England's Justin Rose. Johnson retained his composure with a final round 68 to clip the title for the second time in 3 years as he finished on 15 under par. Running into athletics, comments made about women by Yoshiro Mori, the head of the Tokyo Olympics Organizing Committee, were absolutely inappropriate, the International Olympic Committee IOC says. The 83-year-old Mori said women talk too much and that meetings with many female board directors would take a lot of time. He later apologized for the remarks following calls for his resignation, but said he did not plan to stand down. The IOC said last week it considered the issue closed after the apology. Around 440 Games volunteers have quit in response to Mori's comments made last Wednesday, in which he also said female participants get competitive with each other in meetings. On Tuesday, the IOC added the remarks were in contradiction to its commitments and the reforms of the Olympic Agenda 2020, though it did not mention any further action against Mori. And finally tonight on this day in history, in 2003, the 8th World Cup bowled off in Cape Town with a kick in the teeth for the hosts, South Africa. In a wildly fluctuating match, Brian Charles Lara lined up the boot with a thumping century on his return from serious illness, and South Africa fell 3 runs short when Lance Klusener fell for the second World Cup match in succession. And that story has brought us to the end of our sporting developments for tonight. Now to recap our top story. The excitement of the CG Insurance Super 50 Cup is being heard all across the West Indies as a network of radio stations from around the region have started to broadcast the live ball-by-ball coverage thanks to Cricket West Indies' new and expanded radio commentary partnership with Vibes Radio Dominica. The next match in the Super 50 Cup sees Barbados Pride play the Leeward Islands Hurricanes on Wednesday at the CCG from 1:30 p.m. I have been your presenter, Terry Laraji. Thank you for listening. To watch ZDK Sports Package, go to the YouTube channel of Terry Laraji, The Straight Bat, and subscribe. Stay tuned now for your Voice of America update. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.